Today in Chicago, are historic sites being left in the dust, and what new rules could change how we handle weapons in neighboring Portage this August? I'm Leah.
And I'm Garrett.
Welcome to Laid Back Local, the news of the day, with Leah and Garrett in Chicago. First up, Portage City Council, that's the local government in Portage, Indiana, just over the state line, is lining up a vote this August on a firearms ordinance. An ordinance is a city law. This one aims to prohibit the discharge of weapons within city limits. Discharge simply means firing the weapon. This proposal specifically includes things like BB guns after a resident reported BBs landing on their property. There are carve-outs, meaning exceptions. It would still allow official use by police and shooting at designated clubs and ranges set up for safety. The draft also travels with another public safety fix, rules to deal with dead or dangerous trees on private property, which can fall and cause damage or injury if not handled in time.
Yeah, that balance stands out to me. Public safety on one side, but also respecting state law that says cities can't restrict gun ownership. That's called preemption in plain terms. The state tells cities what they can and can't regulate. Targeting discharge rather than ownership keeps it focused on behavior in public spaces. And BB guns, honestly, can feel harmless until a pellet crosses a fence line. Neighbors worry about broken windows, pets, or kids in the yard, so drawing a bright line inside city limits makes sense to a lot of folks. That's pretty cool, right?
Totally. I can picture the complaint that kicked this off, someone just trying to enjoy a weekend when BBs start popping onto the patio. Real talk, that's a problem. The exceptions also keep space for hobbyists and sport shooters at proper ranges, where there are backstops and trained staff. Backstops are barriers that safely catch rounds so they don't travel.
Quick why for you. Why bundle in trees with a firearms rule? That's a curveball.
Good question. Cities often update related public safety sections of their code at once because it's efficient. Dangerous or dead trees can be a public nuisance, a private thing that endangers the public. If a limb hangs over a sidewalk or power line, the city needs a clear process to get it addressed, so 2 safety fixes on one agenda.
Got it. Bottom line, this Portage vote in August zeroes in on where and how weapons are fired, not who owns them, and it tidies up the tree hazard problem at the same time. Yeah, that checks out.
All right, let's roll on. Speaking of upkeep and public safety, next up is a local story about historic places getting some heat for neglect.
Next up, Waukegan, that's the lakefront city just north of us, is getting heat over upkeep at 2 historic cemeteries, Oakwood Cemetery and Union Cemetery. Both are owned by the city, and both, have been struggling with tall grass, weeds, and damaged gravestones. People are upset because these aren't just resting places. They include graves of Civil War veterans, soldiers from the 1860s who fought in the American Civil War. Here's what's complicating it. There's no dedicated budget set aside for cemetery maintenance. The city also wrestled with overlapping landscaping contracts. For example, on May 4th this year, G&S Services of Illinois, a landscaping contractor, was awarded certain work, yet by mid-June, Public Works was still getting calls, including about a downed oak tree at Oakwood Cemetery. So the gear is turning, but not smoothly. Families have been calling for what's known as perpetual care. That's a stable, long-term funding plan to keep cemeteries mowed, cleaned, and safe. The larger point here is when there's no line item in a budget, urgent fixes tend to crowd out routine care, and that's when things look neglected.
That hits different. These are places of memory, and hearing there's no dedicated money to care for them, that's tough. Also, when you're talking fallen trees and broken stones, it's not just appearance, it's safety and respect. Why not just set a small annual fund to start? Even a modest one builds consistency.
Yeah, budgets are tight, but a clear plan helps. Better contracts that avoid overlap, and checks to make sure mowing and repairs actually happen on schedule. The community's message is pretty direct. The dead should have more respect than they're getting. That's something to chew on, huh?
Next up, Lake County state senators have been busy. Lake County sits just north of the city, and 4 Illinois state senators from there, Adrain Johnson, May Edley Allen, Julie Morrison, and Darby Hills together rolled out 16 bills since January. These target children's health, environmental protections, and artificial intelligence, or AI, which is software that mimics human decision-making. A couple highlights. Senator Adrain Johnson's bill to require schools to keep asthma medication on hand passed the House in April, the Senate in May, and was signed by Governor J.B. Pritzker in mid-June. Senator Julie Morrison moved a bill to protect healthcare workers from violence that cleared the General Assembly and was signed June 26. And Senator May Edley Allen led a first-of-its-kind AI safety and transparency law signed July 6. Transparency just means telling people when and how AI is used in clear language. There are also measures to strengthen emergency readiness in care facilities and to raise environmental standards. The thread tying these together is prevention. Solve problems before crises hit, and make sure laws don't disproportionately harm protected communities. That's close to the heart of it.
I like the future-proofing vibe here. Future-proofing is just planning now so systems hold up later. That AI bill especially, first in the nation, is no small thing. And on healthcare, the stat that workers are 5 times more likely to be injured by workplace violence than other workers, that's a wake-up call. If the laws reduce risk without slowing care, that's a win.
Exactly. And the asthma medication in schools is practical. Seconds matter in an attack. Having an inhaler ready can bridge the gap to paramedics. Simple, life-saving, and not costly compared with an emergency room visit.
Next up, over in Chesterton, Indiana, a familiar face is stepping away from local parks leadership. Bob Cohn, who served 6 years on the Chesterton Park Board, announced he's resigning because he's moving to Valparaiso to be closer to family. His term was supposed to run to December 2028. Cohn worked on revising the park system's master plan. Think of that as a long-range blueprint for playgrounds, trails, and fields. Projects in that plan include developing a dog park and refurbishing sports facilities. Folks at the meeting praised him for showing up, asking good questions, and pushing projects from idea to action. That's the unglamorous but crucial stuff.
Let's unpack this. Volunteer boards like that can be the heartbeat of a town's quality of life. Parks shape where kids play and where seniors walk. Why do these boards end up so influential, even if they don't always make headlines?
Because they set priorities and sequence projects. They help decide which fields get fixed first, what amenities the next grant application targets, and how to stretch a budget across the year. When someone steady leaves, you feel it. The silver lining here is even with the move, word is Cohn plans to stay engaged in community life. That continuity helps.
Last up, the weekend is stacked. Taste of Chicago is back in Grant Park from July 9th through July 12th with wall-to-wall food vendors and big music too, including Chicago's own Common and R&B legend Babyface. Over at the United Center parking lot, Windy City Smokeout brings country stars like Blake Shelton, plus a serious lineup of barbecue pitmasters. Picture smoky ribs and live sets. That's so wild. On Saturday, the 11th, Lizzo performs with the Chicago Symphony Orchestra at the Ravinia Festival, our region's outdoor summer concert series. Pop powerhouse meets classical ensemble is a rare combo. Also in Rosemont near O'Hare, G-Fest 2026 celebrates Godzilla's 70th anniversary with panels, screenings, and collectibles for the kaiju, meaning giant monster, faithful. And the Chosen Few picnic returns to Jackson Park on the 11th, a day-long house music celebration led by the DJs who helped shape the genre right here. There's also a concert for veterans led by actor and musician Gary Sinise at Cantigny Park in the suburbs. Lots of ways to get outside and plug into the culture.
Love the range. You can eat your way through Grant Park, catch barbecue and country at Smokeout, then flip to symphonic pop or go full Godzilla. Speaking of which, that's a thread worth pulling on. It's wild how Chicago weekends can hold both a house music homecoming and an orchestra collab. Check event sites for set times and tickets, and maybe, bring water. It's summer.
Thanks for tuning in to Laid Back Local, the news of the day, with Leah and Garrett in Chicago.
Have a great day, and join us again tomorrow.